For this video, we are going to focus on how to use long division when we are working on a division problem. You'll notice in front of us we have the problem 68 divided by 2. We have 68 as our dividend, we have 2 as our divisor, and we are trying to find our quotient. For long division, we have to set this up a little bit differently. Instead of having it go 68 over here and 2 over here, we're actually going to take the 2 and we're going to move it. It's going to go on the other side of the 68. This division symbol is going to go away. And instead, we are going to use the long division symbol like that. Now, this doesn't have a specific name that I know of, but I'm just going to refer to it as a division bracket right now. So we have our division bracket, and actually let me move it around just a little bit so I have a little more room up top. Let's move it there. What we need to remember is we are working with our place values just like before. We have tens and we have ones. And right now we have 6 tens, which means we have 60. And we're trying to divide those 6 tens into 2 equal groups. So if we think to ourselves, well, if we have 6 tens and we want to put them in 2 equal groups, where are they going to go, or how much is each group going to receive? So for long division, we take just the 6, and what is 6 divided by 2? 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we put 3 up top above our tens place, because that's where we were working. It wouldn't make sense to put it over here. We weren't working in the ones place. We were working with the tens place. So we have to keep it there. Now, for long division, we now take our divisor and we multiply it by the number up top. 2 times 3 is 6. So I'm going to put that underneath because we've used 6 tens now and we need to take them out of our problem. So if we subtract, we get 0. We could get 0 or we could get 1. Sometimes we might even get a bigger number than 1. But what we got to make sure is that the number we get when we subtract is not bigger than the divisor. If it's bigger than the divisor, we didn't use the right multiple up top. But we'll talk about that later. So now, after we've subtracted, we bring down our next number, which is an 8. Now we have 0 tens and 8 ones left over, so we're just dealing with the number 8. Just like last time, we can think of it as 8 divided by 2 equals what? Or you could also think of it as 2 times what gets me as close as possible to 8, or exactly 8. So using that, we're going to get a 4. Now we multiply our 2 times the 4, which is 8, and we subtract again. 8 minus 8 is 0. We don't have any numbers left over. So because of that, and because our difference when we subtracted was 0, our answer is done. The quotient to 68 divided by 2 is 34. Let's try a different problem now. This time we're going to try dividing 792 by 3. I've given us a little bit bigger of a number, but that really isn't going to matter because we are still able to use the same steps as we did last time. We want to start with our largest place value, which is our hundreds this time, and we're going to divide each place value by our divisor. Here's where it's going to get a little bit different though. Let's start with our 7. We have 7 in the hundreds place, so 7 hundreds. 7 is not a multiple of 3 though, so we're going to use our multiples of 3 to get as close as we can to 7 without going over it. So 3 times what gets us close to 7? Hopefully you say 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. And when we subtract, we get 1. It's okay that we have a 1 left over. Now, here's why we wouldn't use 3 up here. Let me back this up. If I used a 3, if I said, oh, the closest multiple of 3 to 7 is 3 times 3, well, that's 9. If we try to subtract 7 minus 9, we're going to get a negative number, and we don't want those right now. So we cannot use a multiple that'll get us something that is bigger than what we have. So let's go back. We said 2 before, which was 6. We subtract and we get 1. Now, just like in our last problem, we bring down the next number. Now we're dealing with 109 tens, or we are going to think of this actually as 19 tens. And we have to find a multiple of 3 that gets us close to 19. Once again, making sure we don't go over it. We want to stay under, but get as close as we can. Well, 3 times 6 gets us 18. If we used 3 times 5, yeah, we would get 15. It's still smaller than 19, but it's too far away. When we subtract, we would get 4, which is bigger than the 3. So we're going to use 6. We get 18. And when we subtract, we get 1 again. Happened twice. That's okay, though. Now we bring down our last number of 12, or 2. And now we have 1 10 left over and 2 1s. So we're going to treat those as if they're just 12 1s. And once again, find a multiple of 3 that gets us close to 12. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. So we don't even get close to it, we get exactly that. 12 minus 12 is 0, so this number divides out equally by 3, and our quotient ends up being 264. We're going to do one more problem that's going to be even bigger, so hold on. Here we're dividing 1,296 by 4. Now hopefully you're going to notice something right away. We're starting in the thousands place, but look at that thousands place. It's a 1. It's smaller than the divisor. What do you think we're going to have to do? Because there's no multiple of 4 that I can multiply it by, or at least a whole number anyway, that I can multiply it by to get a 1. So what do you think we're going to have to do? Well, hopefully what you're thinking is, if we can't use the 1, we can use the 12 instead. So instead of thinking of this as 1,000, we're actually going to think of it as 12 hundreds. Because we can take that 1,000 and break it up into 10 hundreds, and we have 2 hundreds from before. So we're going to work with 1,200. And since we're not using the thousands, we can put a 0 in our thousands place. So we got 12 hundreds. We want to find the multiple of 4 that gets us close to 12 or equal to it. And you should hopefully know that, well, 4 times 3 equals 12. So when we subtract, we get 0, and we bring down our next number, our 9. Once again, what multiple of 4 is going to get us close to 9? Can't go over, but don't want to be too far away. 4 times 2 is 8. So when we subtract, because that's as close as we can get to 9 without going over, we get 1. Then we bring down our last number, which is a 6. Now we're dealing with 16 ones. 16 divided by 4, or thinking of it in multiplication terms, 4 times what gets us close to or equal to 16, it's going to be 4. 4 times 4 is 16. We subtract, and we get 0. So our quotient for 1,296 divided by 4 is 324. And if we're not sure, we can always multiply that quotient by the divisor. 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And 4 times 3 is 12. And what do you know? Our product here matched our dividend here. And when that happens, we know we've done it right. In the next video, we're going to do more long division, but we're not going to have a 0 at the very end. We're going to start talking about remainders. So I hope you look forward to that video, which will be posted in a couple days. Enjoy!